investment platform for those who have capital, those who have funds, those who are looking for what to invest in. We have some guide and we have some links that you can actually follow. So first on our lineup, we'll be looking at the commodity price, what the international market of certain commodities are saying. And first of all, we're looking at the top performers commodity for the week. We'll be looking at four major top performing commodities, which is that of coal, that of palm oil, that of wheat, that of gasoline, and that of orange juice. For the past 24 hours, these four commodities have been performing at a growth rate of, I think the coal had a growth rate of about 31.09%, and that of palm oil stood at 11.01%, and wheat stood at 10.39%, then gasoline stood at 7.66%. Now we'll look at the commodity price of some precious metal, what it stands at as at now in the international market. First on my list, I have that of gold. Gold is being sold at the international market at 1,913, which is a 0.27% increase in the price. Then we have that of platinum. Platinum is being sold at the international market at $1,064, which is an increase of 1.43%. And silver has been sold at 24.50, which is a decrease or a decline in the sales drop from the month for the week, which is a 0.12% decrease. Then also we have that of the natural gas. For the natural gas under the energy section, we have the natural gas is being sold at 4.41%. The heating oil is sold at 79.52. Then coal is being sold at 253, and the Brent, there's a crude oil Brent, is being sold at 100.79%. As at yesterday, the crude oil Brent was being sold at 102, so there's a decrease of about minus 0.31%. Then also the WTI crude is being sold as at today in the international market at 97.57%. Then next on our commodity price list, we'll be looking at the industrial metals. The industrial metals, we'll be picking a few from the industrial metals. Next on our commodity price list, we'll pick that of aluminium. Aluminium currently is being sold at the international market at 3,409. Then lead is being sold at 2,409. Then nickel is being sold at 24,807. Then we have, I'll pick that of tin, which is 45,537. Then lastly from commodity, we'll look at that of some agricultural prices and what is stands and what is being sold at the international market from the agricultural section. We'll take that of cocoa, oats, coffee, and that of corn from the agri section. I think cocoa is being sold at $1.22 dollar per barrel or whatever. Then also oat is sold at 7.0. Then coffee is being sold at $2.34 dollars. Then corn is being sold at 7.18. Then that of the palm oil at the international market, the price quoted there is 7,473. That's all I'll be taking from the commodity market. Then also next on our list, we'll be looking at the exchange rate. What is the exchange rate at today from the market? We'll look at that of some of the currency from the CBN rate, how much you get some of this exchange rate in price. First of all, that of the dollar has been exchanged to the naira at 416, between 415 to 416 naira. Then that of the euro is being exchanged at the international market between 466 and between 465 to 466 Then the pounds is being exchanged at the international market between 556 to 558. That's all I'll be taking from the international, the exchange rate of some prices, exchange rate at the international market. Then quickly, like I told you at the beginning, that we'll be looking at investment. And I have a guest with me in the studio where we're discussing some steps, some criteria, some things you need to do when it comes to investment. But before I bring him on board, I will just give us a brief breakdown of 10 top investment cities in Nigeria. You may be watching us from Lagos, you may be watching us from Abuja or wherever. We are going to look at the price, the GDP of these cities, also be looking at the population and the per capita income of some of these cities. So for my list, we have 10 top investment cities in Nigeria. First on my list is that of Lagos. Lagos, we all know, is a metropolitan city and is housing about 14.8 million people. Lagos house about 14.8 million people, and the GDP of Lagos stands at $33.68 billion, $36.68 billion, and we have the per capita income of Lagos is standing at 4,335. That's for Lagos. And the next top investment city in Nigeria is that of Port Harcourt. Port Harcourt is the 5th largest city in Nigeria and is the state capital of Rivers State. And the GDP of Port Harcourt is standing at $21.17 billion, $21.17 billion, and per capita income of that particular city is standing at 3,966, and it has a population of 3.171 million person. Then third on my list of the top most investment cities in Nigeria is that of Abuja. Abuja has a population of about 3.436 million persons in the capital city of Nigeria, which is Abuja. And Abuja has a major international airport, which is the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, and has a highway link of Nasarawa, Plateau, Benue, and some northeast Nigeria. And this has also affected its GDP ratio. Then next, the fourth largest city in Nigeria is that of Warri. Warri is in Delta State. Warri is a commercial city and is a commercial capital city of Delta State. Although Delta State, the capital city of Delta, is Asaba, but Warri stands as the commercial city of Delta State, and its GDP is standing at $16.75 billion, $16.75 billion, and one of the biggest cities in the state. Like I said, Warri is the commercial city of Delta State, and its estimated population is about 898,000 persons. 898,000 persons. So the fifth most investment city in Nigeria is that of Ibadan. Ibadan city is located in Oyo State, and it has its GDP of about 16.12 billion, and per capita income of Ibadan is standing at $2,665 dollars. So the GDP of Ibadan is about 16.12 billion, and the per capita income is 2,665. So Ibadan happens to be the fifth top investment city in Nigeria. So the sixth I have on my list is that of Owerri. Owerri is a city in the southeast, is also the capital city of Imo State, and it has its GDP of about 14.21 billion. 14.21 billion. That's Owerri, the sixth largest investment cities in Nigeria, and it has its current population of about 908,000 persons. Owerri has an international airport, and also a strategic link between Port Harcourt, Onitsha, Okigwe, and some other southeastern states. So it's almost like a transit state, and it attracts more investment. So number 7 most investment city in Nigeria is that of Kano. When I was going through this research, I was thinking Kano should have been one of the top 3, but Kano happened to be number 7. The city of Kano is located in Kano State, and its GDP is standing at $12.39 billion. That's for Kano. Kano is known for its commerce, it's a commercial city, and it has a population of about 4.10 million persons. 4.10 million persons. So GDP, like I said earlier on, is standing at 12.39 billion. That is for Kano. So number 8 is that of Benin City. Benin City has a GDP of 11.89 billion and a per capita income of about $3,624 that's for per capita income, and the population is about 1.7 million persons. Then now number 9 on my list is that of Abeokuta. Abeokuta GDP is standing at 10.47 billion, and per capita income of that city is about 2,774. Then last on my list before we go fully into the discussion is that of Kaduna State. And the city of Kaduna, which is located in Kaduna State, it has a GDP of about 10.3 billion, and per capita income is about 1,666, and the current population of Kaduna, that's Kaduna City, which is located in Kaduna State, is about 1.13 million persons. So on this note, I would like to welcome my guest I have with me in the studio. Is an investment specialist. Is an investor and is into the finance business, and we're going to we'll be discussing about investment. We've looked at the top investment cities in Nigeria, 10 top investment cities and their GDP, what is to that, and people may want to invest. I've seen cases where people have been asking, I have money and I live at so and so place, where can I make my investment? So I have with me in the studio Abodi Emmanuel. You're welcome to the program TradeLink.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity. And along in the program, I've been enjoying everything that you've been saying. And coming to the investment city, if you look at it, depending on the kind of money you have to invest, many times people look at Lagos as a hub for so many kind of investment, but Lagos afford you if you have so much investment. If you look at every investment of the likes of is it GT Bank investing in business and some other small venture capital we have in Nigeria, every of them are in Lagos. However, there are better opportunities in developing states. What am I saying in essence? The investment, okay, let's assume you have ₦1 million to invest.
Yes.
If you go to Lagos, the kind of investments you will get in Lagos might not necessarily be that interesting with a place like, let's say, Ibadan or Kano State. When you are looking at investments, you look at a place whereby you can invest and you get a return that is reasonable and at a very low risk.
Are you looking at it because there are two things that are confusing people. You talk about cost of living and standard of living, because I've come to realize that they are not the same. You can have a place where the cost of living is high, doesn't necessarily mean the standard of living is high. Are you looking at it from that perspective? Because if you look at Lagos, the cost of living is high, and I was surprised to see Ibadan happening to be number 5, even higher than that of Kano. And the standard of living in Kano, I don't want to say it's higher, but we can do a kind of like a check and balance.
Okay, one of the things I have been in the two states. I've been in Lagos and I've been in Kano.
Okay.
Now, if you look at the standard of living in Kano, is relatively low compared to
that of Lagos.
But the cost of living also in Lagos is very high. However, when you talk about the standard of living, it talks about the amount of money that you have that can make you comfortable.
Okay, that's what they mean by
Yes,
standard of living.
When you have a certain okay, let's
How
assume
much of comfort you can buy.
exactly.
Okay.
Now let's assume somebody earning 100,000 in Kano and somebody earning 100,000 in Lagos. The person earning 100,000 in Kano will live comfortably compared to the person living in Lagos.
So how do we now translate that into investment? Because if you have £1 million in Lagos, you want to invest, and another man has £1 million in Kano, he wants to invest. How do we weigh both of them?
Okay, one of the things that that you must really consider when it comes to investment is what you can actually buy. Now, talking about us, now when we are to start up EFN Capitals, I was formerly in Lagos. But you look at it, we are looking at, okay, we have a 5 million naira to invest. The cost of setting up a loan in Lagos, you can't afford it. Okay, let's look at the office space you are getting in Lagos. You'll be getting nothing less than, let's say, 500,000, 300,000. And getting equipment, getting staff, cost of labor is very high there compared to Ibadan. Now, when you have to invest, one of the most, especially for startups, many startups, except, one thing is, when you look at the kind of business you are setting up, the vision you are trying to achieve with that business will determine where you are going to set up.
The location.
Yes, that is a core determinant. Now, if you are saying, okay, you want to set up a business that is tech inclined, you cannot come to Ibadan to start up that because you will kind of struggle. I have like 2 friends that they are trying to set up their tech hub in Ibadan, but they are really struggling to set up. However, we have other 2 people. I don't know if you've heard of what's their name now? Is it Gear Hub?
We may not really mention their name, okay. But if you look, you are talking about tech. Does it mean, because I used to believe that population is market.
Okay.
So Ibadan has a population, and if you look at from these 10 cities I mentioned, there are 3 things that were majorly quoted there: their GDP, their per capita income, and estimated population. If you look at the population of Kano, and what was stated in Kano is different from what was stated in Abeokuta, and different from what was stated in Abuja. Yeah. But there are some places where the population is high, but the GDP is low.
Exactly. Now, when you're talking about per capita income is the income per individual in the state.
Okay.
Now, that's
the productivity.
Yes, the productivity of every individual that have invested in that state. And in the times of, you're saying something about people is market fine. It is relatively very acceptable. However, there are some kind of business that you don't need to see your customer.
You don't need to see your
customer. And places whereby they are tech inclined, comfortably. Like I was in Lagos recently. I don't know if there's this new startup that is called Krawi. Is it Krawi now? They partner with Lagos State government to issue out card to BRT passengers, whereby you just load the card, then you swipe it when you want to enter into any BRT bus. So now look at that kind of advancement in Lagos compared to what we have in Ibadan. Now, if you are to have any business relating to tech and inclining to that startup, you can easily thrive in Lagos. However, Ibadan gives you the opportunity to run an analog kind of business, what they call like an analog kind of business, and a business that deals with people more.
That's the people and your market. So that means there'll be a direct link.
Exactly.
You, the buyer, and the seller. Not like a virtual one you're talking about.
Ibadan gives you the opportunity to do that. And another thing that is quite interesting in Ibadan is that regardless of the cost of living, the policy around Ibadan is kind of friendly to startups.
Okay.
That's one of the best things. Now, Lagos, before you can even set up your banner outside, you will pay advert fee.
These are policies.
Exactly. Policies that can cripple a business
startup.
A business that is even struggling to make ends meet, and you are coming up with so much regulations.
Now, you talked about startups. Now, if you do look at investment, I know there are certain parts of the world, they have what we call venture capital. And if you look at most investment platforms we have in Nigeria, people are afraid to like give you, if I'm to go by the religious word, seed money.
Okay.
Like, okay, I have a business idea, I have a business proposal, I want to start up a business, and all I need is finance. But we find it difficult because most times, like if you look at the commercial banks, the microfinance banks, when you approach them for a loan or a credit facility, they will ask you for bank statement. And this bank statement, they just want to see your credit score. But a startup, how do they get such? So how do we go about such
Okay,
a...
okay. That question is one of very important question that I would like to address. You know, starting up a business in Nigeria, one of the things that actually affect our startup industry is that most of these entrepreneurs, number one, is this, will I call it, get it fast mentality.
You want to put your $100, the 100 naira, and get in 200 naira.
Yes.
That's 200% profit.
Of course, and another thing is, you see, when they are thinking, you know, you are starting up a business today, and you're having a mindset of, let's say you're having a mindset of UBA. Let's assume somebody that is starting up a bank now, or let's say is starting up an eatery. Let's call it an eatery, and your mindset already is like Chicken Republic. Fine, it's good to think big. However, executing small is very important. That is why most of these people, they don't know how to use cash. That's one of the things that actually limit the access of startups to capital. Because most of them, they don't know how to use cash. You only have everything in your head. But anybody that is willing to give you money wants to see your track record. And even in that track record, they want to see places that you have lost money, because anywhere you have lost money, it is guaranteed for them that you cannot lose their money there.
But how do you get this track record without you starting? We're looking at startup,
Of course,
a beginner.
Exactly. Now, to start up as a beginner, you also must have done your own sacrifice. That's one of the things I tell people. Okay, you want to execute a business, let's say 90% of it at the startup stage should be from you. Should be
So
from
that
you.
means you have to source your capital.
Exactly. You know,
Is that a Nigeria policy or a global practice?
I think is so what I can say is a global practice for every business. Their first access to funds comes from their family, friends, and relatives.
But most people look at their family, sorry to use this local, enemies of progress.
Exactly.
They
That's
don't want my
Nigerian
progress,
environment,
and we have this traditional mentality, look at me this way, you don't want my progress. But how do we survive in such a kind of traditional mentality?
Okay, now what I would recommend at first, you know, for every business that is looking out to survive and access fund, number one thing you need to look out for is creating a network of people. Now you ask me that, okay, somebody that has not even been to Lagos or been to university, how does he create network with some people? It is very important that at every, you know, the thing is, at every level of life, you will always meet people that will help you. However, everybody cannot help. They cannot give you money. They are giving you money for something in return. That's the mentality of an average person. Okay, if I'm to give you 100 naira, how much are you going to give me back? If you can come, you know, the conversation that we used to have, I think we need to retreat it and redefine the conversation. The conversation of give me money to start business. No, it's not a conversation what we have. It's partner with me. Okay, this is what you have to gain. Many a times, people want to, every startup wants investors to be at their mercy. No, investors, they've worked really hard for this money. They are expecting something in return. So if you talk to an investor, you should not talk about your own benefit. You should talk about their benefit. That's one of the things you will learn when you are learning how to pitch business.
So that means I am starting this particular business. How I'm looking out for like $100 or so this amount of money.
Yes.
So I'm inviting you to partner with me.
Of course.
And if you partner with me, you are giving me 50% of my request. This is what you stand to gain.
Exactly.
So that's like a new proposal you are giving to
Exactly.
start up.
Exactly.
Not your, okay, sir, give me money, I want to start a business. So that should be fine, because I believe the world is gradually moving into give and take. Let me use that word.
That's how it has been actually. But you know, we in this part of the world, we always want people to be at our mercy. We want our government to do things for us. We want our father to give us, you know, Many a times, people will accuse their father for their present position, or their family, or their parents for their present position. However, that's not how it is. When you are looking at executing things, you should not always have the mindset of you alone. Another thing that actually used to affect growth in business is people are very skeptic about inviting people into their business.
Yeah, that's the African mentality, because once I invite you into my business, you become a co-owner of that business. So that's no. When we were in school, we thought we learned sole proprietorship,
Exactly.
partnership,
Exactly.
and limited liability company. What are the growth stages?
Now, this is it. For anybody that is looking to grow more, like growing more than what it is now, you should not have the mindset, you should not have the sole proprietorship mindset. Like everything should not be in your name. You should not be the one making the decision at all times. You should be able to confidently accept your thoughts. Because everybody, if you look at it now, I can categorically say it, however, between 90, okay, let's say 60 to 80% of sole proprietorship don't grow more than sole proprietorship. That is why you can see somebody in baggy market that is very, very rich, but it's not affecting so much lives. Compared to, I know somebody in that same market that can be earning $1 billion per year, and compared to a company, okay, this company now, Wema Bank, when they did their estimation for last year, their total income was about 1 billion naira. Now, compare those two. Wema Bank is affecting so many people because they are not a sole proprietorship, and it's a going concern. If that business dies, the person dies.
So now, before we wrap up, I think our time is fast spent.
Okay.
Now, let me ask this question, because we always look at it from that sole proprietorship angle. People look at Dangote as a sole proprietor, but Dangote is beyond that. And what are just briefly the last, just your advice to investors?
Okay, investors and startups now. One of the things we should look at as startup is always be open to relate your vision in a benefit way, cost and benefit way, whereby you benefit and the investor benefit. Also, to the investor side, we should always open our mind to accepting new ideas without so much criticism.
Okay. Thank you very much. There's a much we can take on the program today. I wish we had more time. We'll discuss. There are a lot of things we need to look at when it comes to investment. As an investor, there are people who have the money. There are people who tell you I have so and so amount of money. I'm looking for a credible business to invest. While there are people who have the ideas, who have the technical know-how, and they are looking for those who will invest in them. Join us same time on the program every Tuesday from 11 to 11:30 on Impact African Television. My name remains Bright Richard.